Hey everybody, welcome on into the channel. This is a new stream time for us here, 3:30 on a Thursday afternoon. But we have a very good reason to be here with a special stream because we are talking to César Lador, author or illustrator, who's talking to us from France. So say hello, everyone.
Hey guys.
So yeah, welcome on in, and we're here to talk a little bit about the KCU anthology. Let's go, Frank. How's it going? Good to see you. Welcome on in. Hey, I see Sarah. Yeah, so we're here to talk about the anthology. As Frank alluded to, we are fully funded and we're pushing on towards those stretch goals. Just really exciting time for KCU's first ever anthology, getting it on out there and sharing this work with the world. You, Jeff. Thanks, Frank. Good to see you too. So I figured we'd start off just real quick before we jump in, taking a quick look at how things are doing over on the Kickstarter. So I'm gonna jump over there, and yeah, we're right now just shy of $6,000 raised towards this. I think our next stretch goal is 9,000 for a Comic-Con panel, which is really exciting. We're 142 backers, and I don't usually speak for people, but I think I can safely say from all of the creators that put effort into this, thank you guys so much for making this project a success, and we are just really excited to share this book with you. It's going to be a really good book.
Thank you guys. I wasn't expecting to be that fast, to reach our goals that fast. That was quite a surprise, and I think everybody in the team was surprised. But yeah, thanks again to everybody who supported us in this project.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know going in because I've never really been had anything out on Kickstarter before. I didn't know what to expect, but it's been just a phenomenal response.
Yeah, who's achieved to do that? Who's brought so many people believing in us and in this project? I'm like, I guess
really
I guess each of us, might have brought a handful of people, and the sum of all of us is just making this project a success.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Oh, hey Patrick. Patrick is just popping in chat, mentioning our campaign was just listed as new and trending in the Kickstarter newsletter today. That is awesome. Patrick, by the way, everyone, you should go check out Patrick as well, Plugo Arts there. He has been instrumental in this. Patrick, you are a crowdfunding pro, and I think without your guidance, we would not have gotten to where we are so far. So thank you for everything you've been doing.
For sure. I've actually sent him an email saying thanks for dragging us through the last year of meetings, and because I felt at times he was the one, kind of pulling us forward, and we can do it, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the energy to kind of push us towards our launch and everything, and it's pretty amazing. All of the marketing, Patrick is kind of the mind that's been behind orchestrating the, I would say, pretty well-oiled machine that is the KCU anthology marketing team. But yeah, so not everybody watching may know you particularly, César. So do you want to give a little introduction of yourself?
Yeah, for sure. How do you summarize your life when you are 45? I don't know. I'm by trade, I'm an engineer. So I was an engineer working in private firms for 15 years. And until one day I realized that that wasn't exactly for me, and that I wasn't going to end up there. And somehow I went into teaching civil engineering, and then for a few years, and that freed up some time for me to spend more time on art. And one day I got a contract from a publisher in New Zealand to publish graphic novels. And that's where I am today, really, working full-time as a comic book artist. I'm working on the third volume of a series. And it's going to be published in the US next year, which is an awesome kind of news that I just, I learned. It was kind of in the works for a while, but it was confirmed in the last week or so. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's really exciting. Yeah, I was just looking for it on Amazon. I know we can get it digitally here from the US Amazon store. But that's yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about the series?
Yes, I'm working with a writer he's a comedian. He was a dentist, and then one day he got diagnosed with MS, and so he had to stop his job as a dentist, and he started doing comedy full time. So he's a really like fun guy, full of like very kind of childish, a bit like me. I feel like we're very similar in our look on life and stuff, and it's basically the story is about two kids who want to go for a sleepover. So one boy is supposed to go for a sleepover at his best friend's place, and on their way they bump into an evil witch, and she cursed the park they are in, they're walking through. And so in the first volume they're being chased by giant anacondas, and they're defeating these anacondas in the first volume. The second volume, Glam Evil, who is the ultra villain, she's cursing the park with a blizzard of blobs. So these blobs are like purple blobs floating in the air and bombarding them through the park. And there is magma rivers and magma lakes and lava waves and all kinds of adventure. And then the third book, it's called Curse of the Carnivorous Cactus, and it's basically they've reached the ultra villain's house, but they've been chased by a horde of cactuses, hungry and angry cactuses, who are chasing the boy, the girl, because best friends, but of both genders, and their parents are with them. So it's a lot of fun. It's easy for me to work on that because I found it really fun. Funny. I laugh, I giggle while drawing, and I think it's a good sign.
I think it's the best work, like when you're making yourself laugh, like as you're going through doing it. It's such
That's
a good
right.
time.
Yeah. Although today my wife turned up in my studio and she was like, "This new character that you're introducing here, there is something that is really, there's a problem with his face." It's like, no, I've already started my final pages. So I'm like, well, maybe a bit of photoshopping will help. I don't know, but yeah.
By the way,
We'll
Patrick,
see.
don't think I didn't see that pun in the chat there with the dentist to comedian pipeline. I appreciate that. So César, you do a lot with watercolor. Is that
Yeah,
kind of your main preferred medium?
yeah, it is. I ended up using that because I was sick of working with screens. I had already been using Photoshop for digital painting, but I never kind of got to a point where I was happy with the results. And so I found using watercolors well. Basically, I was always trying with Photoshop to get to a traditional feel, of the result. And at the end of the day, I was like, well, wait a minute. If I spend so much time trying to get my digital drawing looking traditional, why wouldn't I just draw traditionally? And I know that some people are really good at that, being able to give this traditional feel, but I was never able to do that. So I got, I just use watercolors, and after a few years, you start to understand some of its subtleties, and yeah. But it's always tricky.
Yeah, I was just looking up because your work is beautiful. Like I love the stuff that you produce. And I think one of my first chances getting to see your work was actually when you contributed as a guest on Core Tunes, which anybody who watches this stream regularly has seen their fair share of Core Tunes.
Cool, lucky them.
It's a great project.
Yeah, I
And we've
love
been
it.
really happy to have you as a feature here on Cartoons as well. I'd hope to see more of you. Yeah, I was trying to pull up real quick, but hold on just a second. It's Substack is being. I have not gotten great at navigating and finding previous posts on Substack. But
I haven't got much experience with Substack either.
Here we go. Almost there. It's always fun doing stuff, trying to grab things in OBS Live. You never quite know what you're going to end up getting. It's fun. So Frank, who, by the way, thank you for the Cartoons link there, Frank. Frank will oftentimes share his comics. He's also a comics artist, and so we'll do kind of like a critique group type moment at stream. And so he gets to watch me like painfully slowly bring up his Instagram shares of everything as I'm going. Oh my goodness, really, Jeff? Just a moment. Okay. But yeah, I think that I have always been envious of folks who can do watercolor well. To be fair, I haven't invested a great deal of time in attempting it because I kind of have gotten into, by the time that I finally embraced like art and really doing much more of it, I was already working mostly digitally anyway, and so it was harder to kind of jump in and get used to traditional mediums. Here we go. By the way, here's one of Cesar's comics for Cartoons, and this I love the texture of the watercolor. Like, it has such a great feel to it. This actually inspired kind of our layout for a couple that we did for Cartoons on how hurricanes form. I love this depiction of the water cycle that you did as well. But just so much respect for working with the traditional media and how great it comes out. Frank, I did not say you're not allowed to make comics anymore.
That's, this example is pretty straightforward. I mean, there is only blue and the rest is just washes of black watercolor. So it's pretty, there's little kind of skills to have to do something like that. Well, maybe it's me just saying that, but to me, it was more like a mean to get something out quickly. It's always the same thing with watercolors. If you want to put colors on your pages, straight away it adds a layer of complexity, and there is much more planning involved because watercolor is unforgiving. Obviously, there's no Control-Z, so you touch your page, the paint is on your page. There's no like trying again or whatever. So it's cool. And actually, what I realized is that you have to relax, and that helps to kind of be a bit freer with your work and be a bit more spontaneous. Yeah, it's funny. I really for a long time I tried to be less detailed and be more kind of winging it. And until I got a few tips, I don't know where I found them, but basically, let me just grab a brush just for an example. But basically, I was working on a project that was like pretty intense emotionally. It was about nostalgia. Anyway, and I needed to be a bit more expressive, and so the trick I found was to hold my brush right at the end of the handle to avoid being like with a pencil and being too kind of cramped on your brush, but being more like, kind of going, with the flow and just, I don't know. It really helped me. And so that's something I use a lot too, going back to that and just reminding myself, okay, grab your brush at the end of the handle and, so you've got less control and it's more about just embracing, what's happening on the page.
That's great. Like I love that advice. And I think there's applications to a lot of mediums in terms of like not trying to be so tight in control with stuff. Cause I admit to, even in digital art, coming in and like in vector layers, adjusting vertices to that level. And I think sometimes it just really cuts the fluidity of the pieces down, and it's not, it doesn't feel as alive. Patrick actually has a question for you in chat about what is your worst watercolor mishap?
Where's the chat? Just because I'm like,
If so if you're looking at the Twitch page, there should be, if you hover over the window, there should be a little pop up in the upper right corner where you can bring the chat over on the, it's on the right panel.
oh yeah, okay. What's your? Is it? Oh yeah, okay, cool. Now I've got the chat. Sorry. Worst watercolor mishap. Phew. Huh. I mean, at the moment, I'm struggling with, because I've moved countries recently, and you wouldn't believe how the moisture content in the atmosphere changes how watercolor behaves. I'm like, yeah, it's insane. I mean, back in New Zealand, my watercolor was staying wet much longer than here in France, where it dries within seconds. It's like boom, done, dry. You don't even have to use a hairdryer, because in New Zealand I was always with my hairdryer like blowing on my sheets for them to dry quicker. And here it's like you do and it's dry. Like wow. Yeah.
Well, I like that we have the atmospheric science connection coming in here. So you mentioned New Zealand. So France was a pretty recent move for you, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we moved 8 months ago, something like that. Temporarily, so we should be back in New Zealand in a few years.
How has that been? So you've jumped over to basically the other side of the world, and you're going to be jumping back again in just a few years.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, the complicated thing was that I had deadlines. I had to finish my second book too, while packing an entire house, an entire family, moving kids across the world in a new school. The mountain of admin that was required at one end, but also at the other end, was pretty insane. So I feel like it's still not sorted. There's still lots of things up in the air, but I feel like we'll be sorted once it's gonna be time to move again. You know, it's like, yeah.
I hear you. How did you keep going creatively with all of that going on in your life?
That's a very good question, but I think I've been training myself to shut up the voices for a very long time now. I'm talking about the voices, these things that you've got in the head. And as a creative, I think, I don't know, I haven't talked with a lot of people about that, but for me, so often you've got what people call the imposter syndrome, but the voices that are saying you're not good enough, your work is crap, and why are you putting stuff out on social media and whatever. And just this constant doubt about, is it going to get me anywhere? Where is it going to get me? And all of these questions. I've been able a long time ago to kind of really make these voices almost disappear. Maybe it's age. I don't know. I was saying, I'm 45, so I guess I'm getting there. I've got some gray hair, and I think, yeah. Anyway, I think, and so I had deadlines, to go back to your question, and so I didn't really have the choice. I just needed to, to keep going, and I was working like. We basically had no tables, no furniture. Our house was empty. There was nothing. There was echo in the house. When you were talking, there was echo because it was so empty. And so I was just on a kitchen bench painting my pages, and it was pretty insane.
Wow,
But
that's incredible.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that the ability to shut out those voices, the imposter syndrome, like that is huge. So yeah, I'm in a similar boat to you. So I'm also in my 40s. I transitioned over to art. Well, not full time. I'm still working a day job in the atmospheric sciences, and trying to jump in. And that feeling of like, can you really do this? Like, does anybody care? Why why am I compelled to do this? And I think
For sure.
it's very powerful to be able to quiet down those voices and to be able to be like, you know what? I just like doing this. This is enough for me. It's really important. So kudos to you.
You doing these streams, I'm like, you have to be quite. I don't know if it's a question of being driven or a question of being motivated. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but you're putting yourself out there, and it's not easy. It's yeah.
But like it gets easier. For me, it's funny because I'm actually quite introverted most of the time, especially in a big group of people. But I have this one weird thing with me that if you just push me out in front of a bunch of people, I'll just start talking, and I kind of don't stop. And it kind of that's how one of the ways that I shut out the voices is like it just kind of shuts off, and I just start going. And it works out so far, I think, at least. We're almost 2 years into this journey, and it's been pretty fun for me. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I've watched some of your streams, the recording, when you were just working on your anthology piece, coloring and flatting, and yeah. So it's it's interesting. I don't know. I always like to see how people are working anyway. So and while I'm working, I also like to have something in the background just to
Mm.
keep my brain busy with other stuff than what's in front of me. It's a
Yes,
funny,
I
funny
100%
balance.
on that as well. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what was it? Well, so what I like about it here on Twitch is that it's very much an art studio kind of feeling. I don't know why, because I've been drawing my entire life. I've always been doodling in the margins of my notebooks. I've always been making comics for friends. But there was a certain point as where it's like in my brain it was shut off that could be a career or something that I could share with the world. But just before then, I was in like a junior high art class, and I just remember those afternoons in the art studio with all my classmates, and we were just working on our pieces and chatting and laughing, and it was such a great feeling. And I feel like I get that coming here, and it's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about it. You know, that's something that I really missed when I moved. Is that when I was in New Zealand, I was able to catch up with Sarah, hey Sarah, and Ken, and we were working a lot on Discord. Just switching on our cameras and our microphones, and sometimes just not saying anything to each other for hours. But at least we could see each other, and we could have ask a question or make a joke when it was becoming really painful. But that I told them multiple times, you've saved my sanity by just being here, because I had this dream of becoming a comic book artist, and then one day it happened, but I was never expecting that I would be facing the challenge of the isolation and the routine every day. Sit at your desk, and every day you've got to draw no matter what. If you're not inspired, well, there's no question about not being inspired. You have to do the work. And so I'm so grateful for these guys to have been there and supporting me, and just have a yarn from time to time. And yeah, so I'm not sure where that comes from, but I'm not sure what we were talking about
Oh,
now.
it's like the art studio feeling, right? I think that's where
Oh,
we're
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of coming in
exactly.
with it. But also, yes,
Yeah.
definitely shout outs to Sarah and Ken. They are part of the Core Tunes team, and they are incredible, and it's always a joy to work with them. So you mentioned watching the stream. a little bit when I was working on my anthology comic or some of the recordings. And while I love to think that everybody just wants to hang out and watch me all the time, I'm guessing that was also part of your work for the anthology, because you've done a lot of work helping with the marketing and promotion of the anthology.
A lot, I don't know. It's always relative. But I try to do some 4-panel comics and some, obviously my piece, my 8-page comic for the anthology. But I was always inspired by the project. I always had ideas. I always wanted to do more and use a certain character to kind of illustrate something or laugh about. One thing during one of the meetings, Patrick was wearing his hood, and he was looking like Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars, and to me that was really something I always wanted to draw, but I never got to it. But all these little kind of scenes that I was seeing while attending these meetings, I could have done so many more drawings and comics about our experience through the preparation of the anthology.
Maybe that's the next project, is we make an anthology about the behind the scenes of working on an anthology together. But yeah, so you've done the comic story, and you've done several of those, kind of telling the story of the comics, and I think those are going to be featured in one of the add-ons for the Kickstarter project.
That's right. Yeah.
As well as like the newsletter, you've been spearheading a lot of that, if I'm not mistaken.
I was really helping where I could, and because we had to, there was quite a lot of things that we wanted to get out there and trying to reach as many people as possible before the campaign started. So, and I clearly remember that, Bailey, once she came to one of our meetings, she was like, guys, you've got to get some visuals out, you've got to get some comics out, and, because it's a comic anthology. So, and I thought it was so spot on to me, we really, so that's what I just try to do, in my little corner. And but yeah.
Well, just to say, like from like my seat over on publishing committee, like you were doing so much and caring so much. So thank you for everything you've done on this. You're definitely a part of the success of this project as well.
Thanks, Jeff. But I think we were a big team, and everybody kind of pulled their weight, and stoked about the result.
Yeah, me too. Did you so you mentioned you worked on an 8-page comic for the anthology. Did you want to say anything about that? Tease it, or say your favorite part of it?
Yeah. So it's I collaborated with John, who is the writer of the story, but we kind of came up together, and we ironed out the story together, because the earlier version of the story wasn't exactly what I wanted to work on. I already had a plan. I already had a story that I wanted to draw when she approached me, and I was like, how it is. It's always tricky to say no or yes to a project. So I wasn't ready to give up my idea to work on a project I wasn't convinced about. So it took us a little bit of kind of working together to come up with the story. And it's a story about, it has an environmental kind of component to it, and that's something I feel strongly about. Again, I was saying I'm an engineer by trade. I'm an environmental engineer. So to me, it's always something that has resonated with me. And so this story has a component that that is related to that, but it also has spaceships and kind of dogfights between a spaceship and some space zombies. So it's pretty cool. It was kind of my first time in the sci-fi realm. I've always been a big fantasy guy. I always loved, my previous stories were pretty much either yeah, I'd say fantasy and post-apocalyptic sometimes too, but never really sci-fi as such. Yeah, so it was cool too, and so there is. It's funny because it's a story where there is a big twist at some point in the story, and it goes from a very kind of sci-fi story to a very contemporary story. So I'm quite happy with the result, how we were able to manage that.
Yeah, and this is one where the watercolor really came through to great effect. You have some of your pages are on the Kickstarter page as sample pages of the book, and actually, I can
I
scroll
can
down.
grab them for you if you want.
Yeah, you're actually one of the first sample pages,
Yeah,
and this looks
yeah,
so good. Um, like I love how the watercolor came through. I'm really excited to read your guys' full comic.
yeah. I can't wait to see everybody's contribution because I haven't seen any other comics. But yeah, that's this one. So one of the big challenge was about the space. How do you paint space? And one of the challenge of watercolors is that it's not very dark. It's hard to get darks. So I really had to load my paints like crazy, like put a lot of paint and find the right combination of purple and blue to get to this gray kind of. But I'm still not 100%. It could have been better, blah blah blah, as usual. But overall, I like how also I was able to use a different kind of color scheme for the inside of the ship. I really kind of made this decision really early on that I would use a striking color like the reddish for any scenes inside the spaceship to really, because you're telling a story, but the colors are quite useful to convey different side of the story. So here I really used this red to just to make sure that it's clear that we are inside or outside the spaceship, and the same applies for the rest of the story. Really tried to. So I did a full color script. So basically, I just took the storyboard of my story and I painted the entire story, just to get. For animated movie, often they if you guys like Art of Books, there's often color scripts right at the end of the Art of Books where they actually show that they've lined up the color scheme for the entire movie from start to finish, depending on the emotion, of a certain scene and blah blah blah. So that's how I approach that, and yeah, and you know what? If I can just add something about this story,
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a bit of a. At some point, I was like, it's maybe it's too kind of boyish with like spaceships and big guns and like rockets and stuff like that. And at some point, I was like, maybe I should, I should change that. But that it is what it is now. It's out in the world, and I hope people won't take me for somebody who loves guns and weapons, because it's really not me. So it was ethically. I asked myself the question a few times about that, but that's all right.
No, I think it's really interesting. It's a good point to bring up. Like all the decisions and things about that go into a comic, and even if you get a story that you really like in general, it's easy to just have all these kind of like, okay, did I depict this right? What message am I sending here? There's really a lot to consider. And I think sometimes we're harder on our stories than any of the intended audience are ever going to be.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how many times the audience will read, your story compared to yourself having read your own story 100 times through the different phases of the conception of, the comic pages.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think there's also something to be said that there's like an element of ourselves in the story, um,
for sure.
and we have to sit with it. So then when we see the story, we're not just reading like, oh, this is a fun story that someone's created. We're saying like, is this reflecting me? Am I really in this? Do I believe in this story I've created? It's such an interesting balance.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Always is. I mean, yeah, it's funny when I go through my files and I pull out some drawings and I'm like, I remember clearly, the spirit I was in when I did this one, and what was my mindset when I did this drawing. And yeah, it's always interesting.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, it's very true. Like you look through your portfolio and it's almost like a trip down memory lane, and it can kind of bring back all the feelings.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talking
So
about drawings, do you think we should get into our plan, evil
yeah,
plan?
so Cesar actually had a really really great idea that he suggested, and I'm really excited to try this. I will ask you to bear with me to make sure that all the technical, as I iron out all the technical stuff. So I'm gonna start bringing everything in. We're gonna do a little drawing together, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. Um, Hoping. So I'm noticing that occasionally the video for Cesar is dropping out when I jump to my web browser windows to bring stuff in. So, um, give me
Do you
one
want me
sec.
to do the feeling? I can talk about the weather in France in the meantime.
Oh yes, absolutely. Did
Obviously,
you know we actually have a weather command in chat thanks to my moderator Frank? Um, but
yeah.
if you'd like to, yes, go for it. You can. It's better to hear from you directly.
I just saw that he posted something about Francesti in Romania, which is not exactly where I am, but I'm a few countries to the west. But that's fine. It's pretty hot at the moment. It's been like 25 degrees today. Um, my kids were in the pool because there is a pool just in the garden. So 1st of May, it's warm enough already to be, splashing yourself. Um, yeah, but what we were planning to do with Jeff was to use a name generator to come up with the name of a character. I think that's the plan, Jeff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
we're planning to use a name generator, a character name generator to generate a name, and then do a drawing based on this name. I don't know where it's gonna bring us, but um, what I was hoping is that maybe the audience could kind of help us with the decisions. Maybe we could say, okay, what kind of setting do we want to work in? Is it sci-fi, fantasy, or this kind of decision? So um, maybe we could select like three professions for our character. Is he a baker? Is he a, D, a DG, or is he just a regular accountant? I don't know. So it could be fun to have, if anybody's online and wanting to participate, they can.
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited for this. What I'm trying to do right now is see if I can do this in a way where I can actually do stuff without losing your video feed. I'm gonna try something really quickly, and I want you guys, Cesar, if you could talk a little bit more. I want everyone in chat to let me know if they can still hear him while I hop over to another window real quick.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
not a problem. I can say, Jeff the Weather Nerd. Looks like I gotta do all the work in Jeff's stream again. Yeah, sorry, Frankie. This is of course my stream. Yeah. Yeah, Roll20 pretty much. I think both Jeff and I used to still are enjoying role playing games, whether it's tabletop or whatever. But both when we were young, because we talked about that, um, we were part of groups of role playing, tabletop role playing games, and he was, I think, playing D&D. I was playing Warhammer. But yeah, I spent a lot of nights when I was maybe 14 years old, maybe earlier than that. I'd say we were doing our first sleepless nights playing, Warhammer in an attic somewhere in Switzerland, and it was fond memories. So, of fantasy, yeah. And so we're just trying to get something, going a little bit like that, developing a character together tonight. But frankly, it wasn't the Warhammer with the figurines. It was the Warhammer, just the book base game. So yeah, we only had basically the book that, there was no figurines or anything like that. I wish, but yeah, you're right. Games Workshop making these figurines is pretty expensive.
Okay.
I've bought. Yeah. Go ahead.
Magma is churning away, creating the workspace. So I got that going. I'm going to share that link with César so I can bring him in. So let me hop over to Discord there.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the Magma link over in Discord. That should take you to the canvas that I've created.
Yeah, I'm there. You don't have access to this art space. This resource belongs to a closed art space. You need an invitation link to join it before accessing this canvas.
Okay, I have done something incorrectly. Just a moment. Sorry about that. Hold on. You know what? It's gonna work out. It's good.
You're not making things easy for yourself, Jeff.
No, so it turns out I should have probably given myself a little bit more time before I started this. But that's okay. It's good. This is part of the fun of streaming on Twitch, is that you figure things out. You have to figure things out on the fly.
For sure.
And I have just ended up somewhere. I totally don't know where I am.
Invite.
Oh, go ahead.
I can invite somebody at the top right side of the screen in Magma. There's an invite to draw, and you can enter a email address.
Okay, maybe we could try that. Hold on though, wait. Oh wait, hold on. I think I found it. Okay. I can invite you to the art space now.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, everyone, thank you for learning this and figuring this out with us and being here on this epic journey of Jeff trying to figure it all out. So that should invite you to the art space in which there is a canvas on which we can draw. Are you able to get there?
I'm there.
Okay.
Art lobby, I just click on new drawing D&D characters.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Oh.
So we got there.
And yeah, let's bring canvas to my my drawing tablet. Whoa.
All right, I see you in the canvas. So that's a good start.
That's gonna be fun, man.
So we're going to be using a D&D name generator to get us started, and I'm also going to be pulling that up on screen here in just a second.
Okay.
Yes, Sarah, I will definitely be sharing this with everybody in just a moment while I figure it out. Sorry.
I can draw something. I can draw a postcard in the meantime. Just an island with a sun and a house on the island.
All right, I just need to put Magma in the window here. One second. You never notice how you're like, yeah, half an hour will be totally enough time to go ahead and get everything ready for stream. It wasn't enough time. It's okay. We're here. We're having a good time. That's all that really matters.
And I'm trying to look at to find the tools. Okay.
Yeah, it was. I
Right.
did find it was a little bit of a adjustment, just figuring out where the tools were and what everything did. But eventually, Frank and I actually did a little bit of a live draw working on a comic, and that was a good time. Which Frank, we have to finish that one still. All right. So if you're in there and you start drawing, things should start showing up.
Okay.
So
The colors are
step
there.
number one there. Um,
Oh yeah. So what is that?
I see a house.
Ah, nice. Okay. With smoke. Okay, so it's obviously working. Look at my art skills.
Hey, you know what? You know what? You're doing awesome. This is this is good. Okay. The other thing that I need to do is open up the name generator and bring that here for everybody.
I'm off.
It's looking excellent.
Massive flowers because the house is tiny. No. Okay, I'm just okay. Where can I find? Yeah, I think.
So it looks like
Look at
OBS does
that.
not want to show your video and Magma live at the same time. So what I may just do is drop our
Yeah.
video feeds and give us more real estate to draw anyway.
Yeah, just put magma on,
Okay.
I think. Oh, I'm here. Are you there, Jeff?
I'm here, yes. Are you able to hear me still?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I am hearing the music starting to stutter a little bit, so in my background music, but it's okay. I think we're good. All right, so let's try this. Okay. So the good news is, first things first,
Very cool.
we're drawing. That's awesome. Now we just need our character names. So I'm going to pull that site up real quick.
Okay, Sarah, can you see? Or Patrick, can you see? You guys can see I'm assuming you can.
All right. Everybody
I cannot hear Jeff
on chat,
anymore.
are you able to see what we're doing right now? Are you able to hear us? Or have we just kind of disappeared into the ether? Full screen magma. Okay, we got it. So now we're going to add in, we're going to check out the name generator.
Okay, thanks, Patrick.
Screen's still white. Okay. That wasn't it. Okay.
Well, Patrick was talking about a goblin.
Yeah, so there we go. Are you seeing, you should be seeing some drawing happening now. And I can hop in here. I've got I like what you're working. Is this a goblin we're doing right now? No, maybe not. The ears, I was thinking.
I don't know. Patrick talked about a goblin. So I'm just in the meantime.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I'm just getting the name generator up here in OBS. I'm just kind of throwing it up top here. And thank you for sharing this one with me, by the way, Cesar. Okay. So how do we want to navigate this? I'm bringing up the name generator over the top.
The name generator, you mean?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can
so
see.
are we going to click on
Okay.
this random name button? Is that what we're going with?
I think so. Yeah, and
right.
we'll see if we like the, you know, whatever we're getting as a name, and we can change. And if the audience would like to change, or you know what I mean, I don't know, maybe we can ask people like if they are happy with
Let's go for that.
with the name we're finding.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hit random namer. Do we want to put any options in, or just let it go totally randomly? I mean, I'm here for the chaos. I feel like that's what works best in this type of setting.
Yeah.
So, all right,
I think
let's do
just
it.
generate a name.
Generate a name. What do we got? Oh, there we go. So our random name is Ingegerd Zamira. What do we think?
Ingegerd Zamira.
What do we think? Also,
What is that?
advertisements for Lego for everyone.
Yeah. Ingegerd Zamira. I feel like it's a citizen of Middle East somewhere. Zamira, you know. It'd be maybe a genie.
Maybe
Ingegerd.
Ingegerd. With the Ingegerd, I get a little bit of a paladin type vibe to it, but imagining like a Middle Eastern type paladin take could be kind of cool.
Do we want to try another one, or are we
nobility?
kind of?
That's right. I like that one. I'm cool to jump in and try this one if you're game.
Okay, so let me write the name on top of our Canva.
Okay, that is a great idea.
Ingegerd, because it's Ingegerd with the Zamira. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. I've written it. It's there.
Okay. So I'll pull that off. And I'm gonna hop back over to Magma.
And are we each of us are drawing a Ingegerd, or are we doing a collaborative one?
I was thinking each of us. Oh, hold on a second. There we go. I was thinking we could each draw our own, kind of on each. You know, we take a side of the canvas and just kind of work that way. If that sounds cool to you.
Yep. Yep. So the goblin is gone.
You can create as many layers as you would like to here. So if you want to keep anything around.
Okay. But how do I create? Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I'll get it to work. How come the name Ingegerd is...
That is what I'm trying to figure out. That is fascinating. I don't know how that happened. I was noticing it. What?
Because I won't be able to write... I won't be able to write it flipped so people in the audience can read it properly.
I can try writing it. Okay, I'm going to see how this works out for me. Trying to write it. Seeing if it kind of... is that showing up the right
way? Okay, yeah, there was... Yes, it is. Okay.
Interesting. I'm very fascinated by how this has happened. Um,
I cannot. Why
welcome to live TV, folks.
can't I erase? Ah, yeah. Okay.
We'll
Sorry.
have to draw dark mirror versions of the same character. I like that, Patrick.
Okay. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting. Okay, I'm gonna create a new layer. Okay, cool. I'm ready, bro.
All right. Here we go. So let's see. Am I on? So we each have our own layers right now. I'm actually going to create a fresh layer for me, separate of the name, just to kind of keep that there. All right. Yeah. Let's dive in, and it'll be kind of fun because I think we each have our own processes that we work through in creating the characters. So let's. Yeah,
But
I'm curious to see how this goes.
you've got you already have a character in mind.
No.
I don't.
I have no idea what I'm
Okay.
doing, but I'm just gonna start going in a second. I was just gonna go ahead and change our category here on Twitch to art, since we're actually doing art, and that's good times.
Okay. Cool. Ingegard. I'm just wondering if it's gonna be Ingegard. Might be actually a woman, Ingegard. Zamira.
Yeah, that's what I was going for with. I think Ingegard. That's kind of where I was leaning, as well. I'm gonna start. I like to do a sketch layer, so I'm gonna do a sketch layer. I like to use an on-black color for that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that. And yeah, let's just see kind of. I said I'm going to use a non-black color for that. There we go. Switch that. The color selection works. I always forget. All right. So are you drawing on the Ingegard side or the Zamira side?
I'm gonna go on the Zamira side.
Okay, sounds good. Just making sure.
Okay.
All right, there we are. All right.
And we giving ourselves like, is it a short one so we can try to do a different one after that? We don't want to spend too much time on a single one. What do you think?
Oh gosh, I hadn't even thought about a time limit. Ashley is always telling me that I should use a timer to help myself move more quickly. So let's do it. I know I'm going to go through a process of like a sketch and maybe a pencil and kind of try to ink it. But how long do you think we should do this?
Patrick would like to see a desert gin paladin.
I like this. Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure.
All right. I'm just sketching here.
Yeah. Same.
This is going to be very stick figure-y, FYI, to start off with. Actually, maybe do more like this. Sorry, just getting a message from my producer off camera there. Oh, sorry, none of you can see me looking away. That's cool. Okay. videos are over here. So I kind
Sorry,
of oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just. I forgot that I'm supposed to talk.
It's okay. I've figured out like it's not too bad, especially when you're focusing on drawing. I've noticed that like since I stream usually at 10 o'clock at night here in Eastern time, by the time that I get to about 11:30, I start getting a bit quieter when I draw. And if it's any consolation to you, maybe this says more about me than about audiences. But like I post my videos onto YouTube after I stream, and the video that posted that has the most views by like almost double is the one where actually I didn't talk at all. Like my son was in the hospital and I was with him. So I had no microphone, no camera. I just had music and I was drawing. And that's the one that people like the most.
Wow, interesting.
Maybe that doesn't bode well for me, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I've heard that you were talking about your son who's got epilepsy. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Must be tough.
It is. It's definitely been like a journey. It's a journey for the whole family. But as it turns out, millions of people live full, happy lives with epilepsy, and we're working on that journey for us. Doing our best to manage where we can. Hello.
So sorry, but I'm completely off subject. Ingrid Zamira for me is like she's kind of a wanderer of the desert, and she's like, maybe we don't really know. Maybe she's a sorcerer of some sort, but
I like it. Yeah, that's fun.
She's bringing some. Maybe there is a taste of what's her name? Man, I've got a blank. Snow White. Oh my god.
Yes, I was thinking it reminds me a little bit of the evil queen from Snow White when she dresses up like as the old lady.
That's right. Maybe a bit too much Disney vibe.
Well, as it turns out, I'm right here, just a few miles from Magic Kingdom, so you're in the right place for Disney vibes.
Nice. So to make her like oriental looking, what could I put? What kind of clothes would she have?
Maybe like the oh my gosh, Cheongsam, is that the name of it? Like the collar is always a big teller, and like the kind of the fold that goes like across the sternum with the buttons that diagonally move down the side, like a little bit of that. Although with a hood, it's hard to have a collar sticking out.
Yeah.
But I think that also the decorated sleeves are another good way to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. The sleeves.
Gonna channel my inner Tetsuya Nomura and draw just like a bunch of belts, because that, warriors have to have all their
Belts are always a winner. Yeah.
I'm definitely trying to run with Patrick's Jin Paladin type of thing concept, because I think that's pretty fun.
It is a good concept.
Definitely.
It's actually sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Go ahead.
It's actually quite reactive, this magma thing. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, oh, use a combination of like bangles and bracers, and now I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be a great name for a graphic novel about the Jin Paladin? Bangles and bracers.
Yeah, the curved swords. That's a classic.
I see we've hit 300 strokes already. We're doing great. I don't know. I never necessarily thought of the number of strokes as like a high number being necessarily better, but Magma seems to like it, so.
The number of strokes. Yeah.
We got the poofy genie pants going on.
Oh my god. Mine is way too like in the corner there. I don't know if I can move anything. Let me see.
Turn this foot a little bit more so it's not as pigeon-toed of a character.
So selections. Oh yeah, I can move stuff around. Okay. Oops. Oh yeah, I see.
Turn off my sketch layer as well.
Okay. Oh. Huh. Interesting.
Hold on a second. Hey guys, it's okay. It's okay. He's not. The camera's not. It's not up here. Calm down. Okay. Sorry, just some very special guests off to the side of my kiddos who are very curious about what we're drawing here.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I'm ready to try to ink this a little bit. Maybe just a little. Let's see.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let's see. I'm trying not to zoom in on mine because that way everyone can see what you're working on as well. Which is kind of nice. I know when I'm especially working out the concept of a character or a scene, I actually prefer to be more zoomed out, bigger brush, just so I stop myself from going into as crazy amounts of detail on everything.
Yeah.
Kind of a save me from myself type of situation. Reduce the brush size a little bit.
I like my warm gray. It's actually quite handy.
I was thinking that was really nice. I like that. It's very comfortable, but still really very readable. Maybe if we're doing a Jin, maybe we do a little bit of a pointy ear. There we go. Just to give that something is kind of magical about this character.
Well, sorry guys, it's not a Jin, it's like an old lady lost in the desert. But hey.
I like it. I like it, especially with the name. It gives kind of this air of mystery of like, you know.
Ingegerd, Samira! I'm gonna try to do a... Oh my god. I've got a button on my... I've got a keyboard, a small keyboard, and each time I'm pressing on one specific button of my keyboard, it's flipping the drawing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I cannot see that on the stream when I'm. It must be only for me.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know all the hotkeys for Magma yet. I'm pretty new to it.
Hmm. Oh. Okay.
By the way, I didn't say it, but I do appreciate you coming and hanging out. I know it's not super early, especially for a dad, to be on for you over there.
That's all right. You know what? It's funny because I've been actually wondering about streaming as a way to actually just, as you say, having the feeling that you're not alone sometimes. But then I was like, it's gonna be too much of a distractions, I think. Maybe if I have to work, I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, it's actually been helpful for focus for work. It's been like a dedicated art time kind of,
Yeah,
to just like 2 hours a week. I'm here, and I'm working on stuff that I was gonna be doing anyway, but it kind of dedicates the time, and it does keep me from feeling alone, which is nice.
for sure.
Although to be fair, a lot of my other art time is just I'll be sitting on the sofa while Ashley and I are watching something on the TV, and I'll just be drawing away, which turns out to be a great way to keep yourself from falling asleep when you're tired as well.
For sure. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm going for something different. I'm coming your side of the screen.
Okay, don't worry. I got room to spare. It's all good. It's all good. That's a little bit sloppy, but that's fine. We're just having fun anyway.
For sure. Okay, I'm going for a different character. I just
So
thought.
is this an alternate take on Ingegerd?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
another Ingegerd. But still kind of. I like your pants.
Okay, these swords are definitely not the same size, but I'm just gonna pretend that that's on purpose, and that's how she fights, and that's fine. It's all good. It's totally intentional, guys. 100%. I think that's one thing that I've learned being here, doing live art, is I am quicker to embrace my mistakes because you can't really hide it. You can try to act like it's intentional, but I mean, Frank's been here. I have 30 seconds to finish. Well, I do just have 2 shoes to finish, so I'm in pretty good shape, Frank. Frank is the boss. He's the mod. Oh my gosh, why does my pen just keep quitting in the middle of this? Hold on.
He's keeping track on what you're doing.
He is, yes. Actually, Frank is he will pop in. Why? My stylus is being disagreeable at this moment. What is going on with that? Well, that's gonna be problematic.
What's happening?
My stylus is not registering at the moment.
Cooperating.
Yep, that's how it goes. Once again, live TV. Frank actually gives me really great art challenges. Sometimes on stream, like I'll be working on a comic, and he's like, "Jeff, draw a duck." And then we do that, and he's like, "Oh, not bad. That's X number of strokes," and like trying to be expressive with the minimum number of strokes, and it's actually quite a bit of fun, and it's a good way to warm up and challenge myself.
Cool.
There we go. Okay, my pen just needed a minute to think about what it had done, and now we're back in business.
What kind of hat would they have? Just
All right, Frank, I'm going to say this is done to the level that I was going to do it. So I'm pretty happy with this. This came out pretty good. This is a fun game. I do like the randomness and creativity.
for sure. Oh my god, it's
Watch out. I like how Sarah says, "Watch out, Ingy. Your doppelganger is coming after you."
I was
That's fun. I'm
going
getting
to
kind of like a little bit of a bandit energy from this one, from your sketch.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a Prince of Persia
Nice.
kind of I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to do, but I'm doing it.
That's looking good. I like how it's coming together. There's a lot of motion and expressiveness. That's really nice. Did you ever play the original Prince of Persia games or any incarnation of them?
For sure. The first one, I clearly remember, like, I clearly remember how I was in shock seeing the animations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? It was such a. It was the first time the character was actually moving like a proper character.
Yeah, it was one. So I never I saw a friend play it. I
Yeah.
never played it myself, but it always had a really cool kind of feel to it, and I was like, oh, someday I'll check it out. And then of course I never got around to it.
Yeah. Well, my first computer at home was a Mac, and so there wasn't that many games, on Macs back in the days. And so when I don't remember where a friend of mine gave me Prince of Persia on a floppy disk, I was like, oh my god, that is insane.
Yeah, Mac had a few games, but not a lot. We were a PC family, and this is
Yeah.
before everything was just Windows. So I remember a few games that just booted straight out of DOS.
Yeah,
Those
for
good
sure.
times.
I remember
Windows-
I played. There was also Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I think this one had a massive impact on me as well. It was a point and click game, super old school, and you had to make sentences in English. So we were like, what does that pick up, tool to do something? And so that was my introduction to English for you.
Oh, that's really cool. I always forget because and clearly, I pick up on the accent, but what was your first language?
French.
It was French. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in the French part of Switzerland.
The French. Okay.
Anyway, that's my Ingegard Zamira, the second one.
All right, I like it. I like this. This is I'm gonna save a copy of this where it is right now, and then we can just create new layers if we want to do our other characters. And when we're done, I can export the PSD file if we want to, or we each could if we wanted to. And then we, you know, if you want to use your character you've designed later. Right.
Just in case I've got an Ingegard Zamira in my story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doesn't every story kind of need an Ingegerd Zamira? Oh, goodness. All right, let's see what's going on. Okay. Are we ready to go to a second name? Are you game? Are you game to do more?
I am game.
Okay. So, and, turn off that. New name layer. Just a second. Where'd that go? Magma is thinking right now. There we are. Okay.
Magma is thinking?
Magma was thinking, and it's good now. All right. Okay, so I'm going to bring back the name generator. There we are. Okay. Name generator is back. Advertisements and all their glory. And we're just going to click regenerate. So here we go. Taro Aldebrand. How do we feel about that one?
Wait. I cannot see it. It's still on Ingegard Zamira for me.
Oh, wait, what happened? Oh.
Yeah. Taro Aldebrand.
Taro Aldebrand. Oh. All right, do we like this one? We want to run with it?
I don't know. I think we can check another one maybe.
Okay, sounds good. Let's check one more. Okay, let's see. Wait for that. This last name is a good one. Is a fun one to update. All right. So we've now got Leon. Aglaia. Is that what? It almost sounds like the liaison. Our publication committee stuff. So it's kind of appropriate. I'm kind of liking it.
Aglaia.
Wow.
To me, it inspires me a mafiosi of some sort. You know, some gangster from the mafia.
Oh yeah, it does have a little bit of like that Italian type of sound to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to try this one?
I don't know. What do you think? What the audience is thinking?
Yeah, chat. What do you think? Is it anybody out there in chat? Do we go with Leon or do we try one more? Chat has fallen deathly silent.
Yeah, I'm the boss here. That's all what I can see.
Frank, boss, what you doing?
We've bored them to death. Okay. Let's roll another name then.
All right, we'll roll one more and see what we got. Okay, this will be a good one. So waiting for it to show up.
Yeah, wait, because I cannot see it yet.
I know there's like the time lag, so I get like the preview of it.
Yeah. Oh.
Agustin Levy.
Yeah.
Levy.
Okay.
Thanks for changing that to LMBO. I mean, technically the LMAO is fine. But you know. What do we think? Is it?
We can try.
Monk. Oh, interesting. That's a fun concept. All right.
To me, I could see not a monk, but I could see a priest. Definitely. I don't know why, but
I think the Augustine. It sounds very. Yeah, it brings like Pope type imagery to my head a little bit. I don't know who he is, but he obviously wears jeans.
Yeah, Levi.
So a cowboy priest, is that what we're going with?
Cowboy priest.
Western Catholic cowboy priest. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this. This sounds fascinating. So I'm gonna write it over there in Magma.
Okay.
All right, there's that. Gonna swap my colors out. Oop. Maybe I'll pick something different this time.
Something warmer? No.
Yeah. Gonna go a little bit of a purpley pinkish tone just to switch it up for fun. Okay. That is too big of a brush, Jeff. All right. Kind of get the cowboy hat going there a little bit.
Go.
It was funny, Cesar, when you're talking about watercolor and you said like you can't control Z. I really felt that because there's so many times after getting used to working on digital art when if like I'm sketching something just for fun, like on a paper and pencil, and then I'll like make a mistake. I'm like, oh no, control Z, and like, oh no, wait, that doesn't exist here. You can't undo
Seriously?
it. It's called.
Are you doing that?
Yeah. Do you ever?
Wow.
I actually have caught myself trying to pinch zoom on physical paper.
Oh. Yeah.
And feeling very foolish about it.
That's funny.
So we're gonna do some kind of priest robe type of situation, but maybe tucked in. Gonna be a baggy robe shirt, kind of a miter type of situation going on here. But it's gonna be tucked in to a pair of jeans, and that is just the way that we're gonna do this. With, of course, the cowboy boots on there. There we go. And of course he's going to be holding some sort of scepter there. Maybe he'll have the tails of the robe flowing out dramatically.
Is it blasphematory? How do you say that?
Blasphemy?
If I draw something like that, or is it? I don't know if it might shock some people. I'm not sure.
That is a great question. I don't think so necessarily. I know because you're going for a holy symbol, right?
Yeah.
I know some people will do like an ankh or something like that to view a little bit less of a modern day associated imagery, but I know even that has its own associations. I think it works out. You're not necessarily doing anything disrespectful with it, right? It's a guy holding it. Maybe he's gonna have like a little holster with like holy water on the side of his belt. He's gonna be holding his belt there. Okay. And of course he's gonna have the straw sticking out of the mouth. I'm feeling like my cowboy hat leaves a little bit to be desired, but I'm just gonna live with that. Give us, Frank, the review of the Minecraft movie, Religiously Wears Jeans. I see that, Ken. I haven't seen the Minecraft movie yet, which is actually probably surprising because Minecraft is pretty huge in our house.
Yeah.
But I have not seen it yet. We will most likely see it when it comes to
streaming platforms.
Of home in some format.
Yeah.
Wait, did I?
I've got a friend who actually worked on some of the props.
Really?
Yeah, he did the crafting table.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, because he's a leather specialist. He's working with leather. I don't know how you call these people, but for example, I'm wearing a belt that is done for me a long time ago. But he's working for movies, and he's doing a variety of things. But because it was shot in New Zealand, I guess he was kind of invited to contribute to some of the props.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I saw that he was pretty proud of his, some of his props. I think there were a few helmets, like square helmets too, that he designed and built. He didn't design them, he built them from concept designs.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially because with something like Minecraft, it's so well known, and it has its own kind of visual aesthetic associated with it that it's hard to truly design something that's not, or it's already sort of designed for you out of the box.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a little bit of stubble going on. Ooh, collar. Do I give him a country western collar or no? I think I was gonna go with the priestly miter. That's fine.
I quite like my design. Sorry.
I do. I really love your expression on it.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I don't get like super friendly feelings from that guy. If he says, if he's the person rolling up in the confessional booth, I might feel a little bit nervous.
Okay, I won't overdo it because I know myself. He's got large hands too, but hey, he's got some hair on the hands too. He's a real gangster, actually. He's got some, he's a hairy dude. Not on his face, but his hands are just...
I like it.
Maybe I'll try to resize that. Have you tried resizing stuff?
Yeah, so there is a select tool over there, and so I have selected and resized within a layer. It works pretty well.
Selection. I see the selection. Move. Ah, yeah, resize. Okay. So I can resize that. Ah, yeah. Okay. Just... I think that's better. So I can put the bottom of the cross there. And can you zoom in?
You should be able to pinch zoom on yours. I mean, I can zoom in. And I know you can tilt the canvas, you can rotate it, you can zoom in as needed. I think it's just pinch controls on it. Maybe also there might be a shortcut.
If I zoom in on my Canva, is it going to be zooming in on the stream or not?
No. So I think if I zoom in on mine, it'll zoom in on the stream because I'm capturing my window.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, so =, also is the keyboard shortcut for zooming in. Turns out if I just look at that.
Interesting.
Okay. So yeah, we actually lived in Houston, Texas for about a year and a half after Ashley and I were married. So I definitely am familiar with the cowboy aesthetic. We actually went country dancing with some friends there. It was pretty fun. And it was kind of crazy. You wouldn't have thought because we lived really close to downtown. But it turns out driving even just a half an hour, it felt like we were out in the boonies, like out in the country. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. My sister-in-law is living in Canada, and her partner is doing rodeo.
Oh.
Riding bulls. And I'm like, I've seen some footage. I'm like, what a madman.
Yeah, that's intense stuff.
Yeah.
100%. And even the like rodeo clowns, like that's a real job, and it's not like they do entertain sometimes the audience, but their main job, I think, is to distract the bull when the riders fall off. It's not light work, that's for sure. Okay, so I like that. That's coming along okay.
I like the straw in his mouth.
Yeah, it wouldn't have felt cowboy without it. I realized that I started. So there are certain checklist items that I have every stream. That it's not a full Jeff stream if it doesn't happen. And one of those things is always Jeff draws on the wrong layer. And so I did that. I wrote on the name layer, so I'm trying to cut that and put it on a different layer so I can turn off my sketch layer. Oh, goodness. If you're curious, the other one is that I always somehow manage to headbutt my own microphone.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I realized that sound is quite tricky, I guess, when you're inviting people, because you've got a clean sound, but I think it was Bert. I really struggled to hear him.
Yeah.
When he was on the screen.
I don't know what Bert's setup is at home, when any individual is using, but like one of the big pieces of advice when I started researching streaming, and what you really need to do to set it up, one of the big pieces of advice was, make sure that you get a dedicated microphone, because if you're using your computer's speaker array, oftentimes it doesn't come through super clear. So that might be the difference that you're seeing.
Yeah, I was wondering.
You go ahead.
I was wondering about my sound, if it's good enough, or
You're sounding pretty clear to me.
Okay.
Over here.
After 2 hours of stream, it's about time to, ask these questions.
I always think about it later. Yeah, you're sounding pretty clear to me. Chat, is everything sounding clear to you? We need bingo cards. I like that, Sarah. I avoided Frank on my cross country trip. Well, I didn't avoid you. We just didn't have time to make it into New Mexico. Also, please do note Frank takes great pains to make sure he spells my name differently every time he types it in chat. Give credit for the hard work.
Well done, Frankie.
I do really want to also call out Frank just for he's also a comic artist, and he does a comic, you can read it over on Instagram, called Loosey Goosey, and it's great and really fun. Like, it kind of has a really good Sunday Funnies type vibe to it, and I've been really enjoying his stuff. And as much as he says I tell him not to draw comics anymore, I've been trying to encourage him to join in on things. Who's Frank? Frankie. Never met him. Nice guy, calls Jeff old a whole lot.
Now, I don't remember if the thing on the collar it's white, is it?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It is.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna offend somebody.
I don't think this is offensive. Granted, I'm not, a priest, but we're hearing the atmospheric difference.
The atmospheric difference. Okay.
Yeah, Frank always puts me to shame with how fast he is doing comics. Like, I'll be like, I've almost finished penciling this one panel, and Frank's like, "Oh, I just finished a whole comic." I'm like, okay. You like it's
Yeah,
even
that's
hard.
handy to be fast when you're doing comics because yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick, oh my gosh.
I just don't kill the hope. Oh wait. Oh.
Oh no. Oh no.
You've got a weird audience on your stream, Jeff. I don't know if I'll come back. People are not behaving. Okay. I think I'm getting there with my character. But
Shade in there.
pretty rough. Look at this guy. Oh my god. I think the scale, the scale of the drawing is, it's for me it's much easier to draw doing a full character on such a small piece of canvas on my screen. I just cannot do that. See what I mean?
Yeah, it's really hard. I've been
It
fighting the
is.
temptation to try to zoom in because I know then it'll lose your view. Although it's been kind of fun also to then think about a little bit more about how the character reads, like overall, like.
Yeah.
So that part is
You're
interesting, at least.
You're doing really well for that level of zoom. It's awesome. Look at your hand. You're almost.
Thank you. I'm doing my best over here.
Yeah. No, you're doing well. I kind of gave up on the full body shot. And so, give us the story with his staff.
Well, my story so far is that I put zero forethought into it and just tried to draw something that looked kind of like a holy staff. But now that I think about it, I know what I need to do.
See?
Is it needs to be a horseshoe. It's just the staff clearly it has to be a horseshoe. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Then with like a little
He's a cowboy.
knob of some kind on there. And my pen's just like, no. All right, let's see. Yes, no. Interesting. By the way, Frank, I was going to ask if you have an S Pen update while I'm waiting for my pen to reconnect to my computer so I can draw some more.
What's an S Pen?
Frank. Yeah, so Frank has been having a little bit of drama getting a replacement for a Samsung pen for one of his drawing tablet.
Mm.
So he's been giving me regular updates.
Awesome. Look at that.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna try to draw this with a mouse right now.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, so it's actually fun. My first time I did technically a digital comic was when I was in like 8th grade or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a writing book project, and I chose that I wanted to do comics for mine, which probably should have told me something about what I actually wanted to do with my life. But I ignored that and went full speed ahead away from art and comics for no good reason. But I did do an entire 32-page book of just comics about me and my friends.
Awesome.
That I drew entirely in Microsoft Paint with a mouse. And I still look back, I'm like, how did I do that? How did I tolerate paint for that long? But I did it, and it worked out I think somewhere on a 3.5-inch disc at my parents' house, there's still all those comics exist. But sadly, though they promised me that that book would be given to me upon my graduation from high school, I never saw it again.
So it has disappeared. Is it what
It
you're
has
saying?
disappeared, sadly.
Oh,
Maybe someone's just like, this is too good. I need to keep it for myself.
that's right. Maybe it's been published somewhere in Uzbekistan or,
Oh, that'd be incredible. Or maybe they're just like, this is a crime against art and literature and it needs to be destroyed forever. That could also be the case. You never know. I could go either way with it.
Augustine. Oh.
The J really throws me off too. I'm glad it's not just me.
The what? Sorry.
The J in the name really throws me off as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Yeah.
Hey, what is a good? Trying to do a little like florally. No, that's not quite right.
What are you doing there?
Like he has like the miter, right? No, you know what? It needs to be another horseshoe on here. Trying to do like, because like a lot of priest garments will have like kind of a florally or intricate design.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, something very natural, gardeny, like around
True
a holy
that.
symbol. So just trying to throw that in there. Try his scruff. Okay. All right. I think I got him. I think this is my cowboy cleric.
Augustine.
I'm not going to start shading because it will, I don't think we all have the next 4 hours to hang out here while I try to do that.
Have you, by the way, have you caught up with Patrick already?
Have I checked
on the stream?
No, Patrick and I haven't had a chance to chat, although I'd really like to. Hey, Patrick, it's been good having you here. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, I actually think it would be fun to have a Patrick, Bert, and me martial arts and comics discussion as well. But I mean, I could talk for hours with probably just Patrick alone, honestly.
Yeah. I think
Frank has been filling us in on the details about his S Pen, and I haven't been faithfully telling everyone that there is no update from Samsung aside from Samsung being bad, and he's calling them right now. But yeah, I think it's been really cool doing these streams and getting a chance to just chat with everybody, and I think that's been my favorite part. And I think even after the Kickstarter closes and the anthology's shipped and it's in all of our hands, I'd like to continue doing stuff like this and hanging out and doing art, and especially this drawing together. This has been really fun. Yeah,
it's awesome. I enjoyed that a lot, for sure.
Yeah,
especially with the name generator. I this one I just searched for name generator and I picked one, but some of these are much more like you can really kind of direct them, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more we could do with this. So
yeah. And it's funny, I don't know if it's because it's, for me, it's like 11:30, but the inspiration is kind of hasn't been there for some of these names. This one was to me was the most inspiring one. Augustine.
Yeah.
Levi.
It's so unique. Like I feel like that kind of that triggers something, right?
Yeah.
Probably. There we go. All right, shade that in. So where are you at with yours? Are you feeling like it's complete?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So let's see. We're right at about 2 hours. I know it's getting late for you as well, so I think that'll probably do it for the drawing portion of stream.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hop us over to. Where did the video call go? Hold on a second. My Discord is figuring out what it's trying to do. All right, I see you again. All right. There we are. We're back. Well, this was a lot of fun.
Has been for sure.
Yeah, I look forward to, you know, if you ever want to do this again, I would definitely be game. This was a blast.
Yeah, and I like this software. You know, Magma. It's quite. It works surprisingly well.
Yeah, I did. There was the superhero project. If you're familiar with them, they did a
Yeah.
live stream back in December and invited anyone who had done a poster for them to come on. So I joined, and there were like 6 or 7 of us drawing together in Magma, and it worked really well, and it was a lot of fun. So that's kind of why I've started using it a bit more.
Huh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's good
Cool.
times. I think you can get, even without a paid account, you can get up to 30 people working on a canvas. So
Wow.
I think it would be fun to
Imagine.
do something with like as much of KCU as we can in a single
Yeah.
canvas.
Imagine the mess. 30 of us on a single Canva.
Oh, it would be pure chaos, but I kind of love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think that brings us about to our time. Again, I don't want to keep you up too late here. I really appreciate you hanging with us as long as you have.
Not a
Did you have any
problem.
other
Yeah.
comments anything you wanted to share? Anything you wanted to, like, oh, I have like a whole bunch of questions that I usually ask. So what are you working on next?
I'm working on volume 3 of the Miles and Jones series, so that's ongoing, and it's pretty high. So it's 150 pages this time, and I've got to deliver all pages by the end of June. So I don't have a lot of time left, and I've got still halfway. I'm halfway approximately. So, and I'm also working on the covers for the US editions and and everything else. So yeah, I've got plenty on my plate. But yeah, I don't know. I've never. Yeah, I'm enjoying, working in this field, so I don't mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I definitely find as well, like when it comes to creative stuff, even when it feels like there's so much to do, there's also so much. It's so much that I want to do. Like it's just it's busy, but it's a joyful busyness.
Yeah, I'm trying to negotiate more time for the next volumes because I've done 300 pages in 18 months, no less in 16 months, and I still have 150 pages to do in 6 months or something like that. So it's pretty intense. Um, It's yeah, so I've been trying to negotiate having more time for the next volume, so I can actually do something else, on the side, like catching up with you on doing streams, working on cartoons, working on my personal projects, because I've got a few things in the back of my brain, talking to me again. With the voices are back, but the good voices this time.
The good voices
So
encouraging you to do stuff that you love.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I hope that you can negotiate more time because like I've really enjoyed all the work that you've done that I've seen, and I'd love to see what you've got kind of cooking up.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to be able to read Miles and Jones. It should be called Miles and Jones. So while I've got you guys, that's the New Zealand edition. So that's the first one, the Anaconda Attack, and it's gonna be called Miles and Jones, and it's coming out in 2026 in the US. I think the first 2 in 2026 and 3 and 4 in 2027, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I can't wait to be sharing that with a bit of a wider audience. Yeah, and people who know a bit about comics, and yeah, it should
Yeah,
be
I'm
fun.
excited to see it here. Again, if you can't wait, you can find the digital editions of Miles and Jones 1 and 2 over on Amazon. But also, if you are a supporter of our Let's Go anthology, you'll get to see Cesar's work there, as well as on Core Tunes, which I will shamelessly plug forever because I love that team and that work.
It's such a great project. I keep on telling Sarah the same, but yeah, I really want to, because I've got the first few pages that I've done about the water cycle. I've storyboarded a few more, so I really want to be able to work on that and finish a cycle on that. But yeah, I really believe in this project. I think that's that's how I see comics. The fact that it is a way to reach kids and a way to communicate with them about a topic, scientific or not. But I think it's such a healthy vehicle, to do that. I really, yeah. So cartoons all the way for sure. I'm a big fan.
Absolutely,
So
we love having you as a cartoonist as well. Um, so before we roll out, where can people find you if they want to see more of your work, like, on social media?
So where I'm the most active is still Instagram, but I've been really torturing myself about getting away from it. But yeah, in the meantime, it's Instagram mostly. I'm trying to write things on Substack because I like this format of being able to combine words and images, not only images, but tell a bit of the backstory of some of the pieces or the artwork that I'm doing, or the projects I'm working on. I like to go a bit deeper with that, and I think Substack is a great platform to do that. And Instagram, ethically, I don't believe in it, and yeah, I'm a bit tired of supporting these guys, and yeah, I'd like to get to find a way out. So maybe Substack is the way out.
So the best way for people, if they want to support you, is to head over to your Substack and follow you there.
I guess. Yeah.
Sounds good. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I was just like, I just had a lunchtime critique group meeting where we were just talking about all these platforms and like what do you do as a creator with them, and that's a whole nother discussion. We don't have to jump into like at almost midnight for you. Um, but yeah, please go check out Cesar's work. His art is incredible, and obviously you've just heard him. He's an awesome guy. Um, Cesar, it's been really great having you on stream and drawing with you. We'll
Thanks,
wrap up
Jeff.
here. Um,
Thanks for inviting me, and thank you everybody for attending. If there is anybody still logged alive,
I think
but
we have a few survivors, thankfully, so that's good. Um,
nice.
it's good, but yeah, for anybody who watches just regular Jeff streams, I will be back tonight. It's Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. What else would I possibly be doing? It'll be more of a regular Jeff stream, working on some stuff. Frank, maybe we'll hop back into that comic we were working on if you're available. But otherwise, yeah, I'll see you guys tonight. And then look for announcements because I have a couple more of these Let's Go anthology streams I'd like to do. A couple people I'm talking to or would like to talk to yet. So keep your eyes peeled. And once again, I've just now remembered that I need to get my stream ending graphic loading before I sign off. So I'm just going to keep talking while I do that. I do this every time. Thank you for waiting for me while I do it. There we go. All right.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Bye.
See you.